And we are live, guys. Welcome to another live stream from the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. Today we're going to do a reaction video to David Hammond, which is the founder of Self-Developed, the YouTube channel. And we've reacted to him before, and he's an awesome guy. And I received this video from a client of mine. He's like, react to this one, and of course, let's go.
And alright guys, what is going on? Welcome back to another video.
Just making sure that everything's okay. Of course it is.
On the David Hammond YouTube channel. Yes, I know we're in my car, and that's, guys, because we just pulled up to the ice rink, okay? If you saw the last vlog, we just got some skates. They're literally in the back right now. But unfortunately, I actually don't think I'm going to be skating today, simply because it's around 5 degrees out. That's why I'm only in a hoodie. And there's absolutely 0 people on the ice. Like, there's no one on the ice. I literally just got a text from my mom 10 minutes ago. Randomly, she didn't know I was going skating, just being like, hey, David, I don't think today's a good day. You know, it's pretty warm out, and I'll put the screen share. Yeah, there's no one there. So, I think it's best to not die today. But this actually perfectly intros this video. We're speaking of the mindset, or really the philosophy that honestly has changed my life.
But then I got an email from this company called Unison, and they were like, yo, check out this MIDI chord pack.
Alright guys, so check it out, alright? And I know it says it's 5 degrees out. It feels a lot colder than that, but again, just best to go with your gut, stay safe. So guys, let's jump straight to it. The philosophy that has changed my life. This is something called Wu Wei, okay? It's actually an ancient Chinese philosophy that's very similar to the Tao or the Tao. If you guys are familiar with this, you know, quote me on it, you know. You see, the funny part is that I've actually been practicing this Wu Wei for the past, honestly, I want to say my entire life. I just didn't necessarily know it was called this. Let me explain what it is. So guys, Wu Wei, very funny word, isn't it? And funny enough, the word actually in Chinese means doing nothing, non-doing, and essentially resembles effortless action. And Dave, what do you mean by this? Now I'm not saying, and it's not saying to absolutely do nothing, but it means the mode and the mean in which you take this action. Let me explain. You see guys, Wu Wei is very synonymous or similar with water, right? And I believe Bruce Lee was actually a massive practitioner of this. This is why one of his most famous quotes is, be like water, right? When you pour water into a teacup, it becomes the teacup. When you put it into a bowl, it becomes the bowl. Wu Wei, guys, in essence, is flowing. It's taking this effortless action guided by life. This is
So, I'm just gonna interrupt for a quick second. I mean, I have tons to say already, but, you know, it's good to let him talk a little bit. And, but of course, this is a fantastic principle. In fact, that was exactly what my last video was about. For those of you who haven't watched my last video, it's Semen Retention and Ultimate Consistency on this channel, where I speak exactly about this. Like, that was exactly what I was talking about. And what is it? It's getting into the flow, okay? Getting lucky, communicating with the universe in such a way that everything just automatically flows into your life. That's really what Wu Wei is. Effortless action doesn't, you know, and he talks about it. It's not about not taking action. It's about having the action that you're taking basically be you. Like, you are the action, and the action it's just who you are, what you do, and you feel fantastic doing it, which means that it's effortless, right? And it happens naturally. It flows. And when things flow, then you're basically aligned, right? Okay, and a quote from my last video, I said that this could be prayer, this could be meditation, or this could be just simply called being aligned. Okay? If you're aligned with the universe, then things will flow in your life, and it will be effortless action.
exactly what I've been doing and promoting my entire life, guys. The great wave, in essence, is Wu Wei. It's going with the flow. Meaning, if things don't work out, meaning you initially thought you were going to ice skate, but life, the great wave, water is telling you not to, then you ebb and flow around it. You adapt. This is the essence of Wu Wei. Now, The reason I believe Wu Wei is so important and vital, specifically to us, right, millennials, Gen Z, Gen X, whatever you want to call us, in our Western society, is because we are constantly pushed, hustle culture, we're constantly pushed that we need to work harder, faster, bigger, more. And to a great extent, this is true, this is amazing, it can produce fantastic benefits, but there is a cutoff point. And even the client call I had this morning, there's just that, there's ambivalence, there's, I don't know what to do, I don't know what the next steps are, I'm so bombarded with all the options that I really just don't know what to do. And that is where Wu Wei comes into place, is taking the action that is inspired right now. And it's not forcing anything else, meaning if you don't feel inspired to start that podcast, you don't feel inspired to stay up till 3 a.m, then don't do it. Adapt, mold. And that's, to be honest, why I've been waking up a little bit later, guys. Like, this is Wu Wei. This is the ebb and flow of life. But before we get back to our story, and speaking of Wu Wei ebbing with life, I am feeling inspired to clean these dishes, guys, as well as do some meal prep. So let's get it going, guys, get up some time lapses, and then get back to the story of Wu Wei. See you guys.
This $69 monocular telescope is taking the world by storm. It allows you to see
Then.
So, I have to just mention something here, because yes, there's always, there's a lot of different things happening, and I have so many options of what I can be doing right now, blah, 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 so it's better maybe to just go with the flow and don't do anything. Well, what's up with that? Like, well, what is that? You're basically saying that, that you should give up on consistency? Really? Me, I'm a guy who basically believes in consistency first, flow will arrive. Okay? Consistency first and flow will arrive. So I'm not the kind of guy who's like, let's adapt to whatever comes my way, and then I'll kind of, mesh with it. And I'll do what happens to my day basically depends on what happens to me. No, that's a horrible way of thinking. Why? Because your goal is to get exponential growth, right? So if you're going to get exponential growth, then you've got to learn to stick and be consistent with what you're doing for an extended period of time. In essence, it simply means show up. Show up consistently for a long period of time. Exponential growth is going to naturally happen. If you live by what he was saying just there, that sometimes you just wake up late, and sometimes you don't do the dishes, and sometimes you do this and that and the other, it's just you adapt with whatever happens. Really? No, you don't. Like, of course, like if something happens, like, a client called me today and said that, one of his guys needed to have a meeting, and this meeting was gonna last until like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and he's like, and he's consistent, and he's like sleeping at 9:30 every single day no matter what, and he's like, should I do it? And I'm like, well, number one, don't promise yourself away first before you double check if you're in doubt, okay? But you should have said no, okay? In my opinion, you try and find ways for other people to flow around you, okay? Because you're the leader. When you set up a plan, you want that plan to work, and other people need to adapt. The moment you make other people adapt to you, you become the leader. If you continuously always adapt to everyone else, then they are leading you. Okay, so I'm not saying that you should be rude to people or that you should, be neglecting people, but in many ways, if that is what's necessary, at least a good portion of the day for you to be consistent, then so be it. The goal is consistency, but that means that you cannot take upon yourself too intense things in the beginning. Okay, a part of developing flow in your life is to do easy things. Okay, that means prioritization. That means neglecting everything and anyone else but the one thing that you need to get right in your life. And the first thing that I teach on this channel is not SR. It's not, it's just one thing. It's 80-hour work week. Okay? Now that sounds like it's completely off base in terms of what he's talking about in this video, but for me, it is completely aligned with the Wu Wei, okay? With flow. Because if you manage to go and do the 80-hour work week, over time, okay, number one, you'll easily achieve SR, okay, over the next 90 days if you actually apply it. You do the 80-hour work week, you're actually practicing SR, your attitude becomes fantastic over time, okay? Don't like understand that this is a process, right? But eventually the 80-hour work week is a way of life for you. It's like you've adopted it, okay, into your life. Everything else around you has adapted to you, and now things simply just flow in your life. It's effortless action, effortless 80 hours a week. And if it's effortless, you find ways to actually make it more effective continuously. And that consistency of making the 80-hour more consistent and more effective, and also like enjoying yourself more while you do the 80 hours, the exponential growth begins to happen, guys. That is when you get flow. Do you see my picture that I'm painting here? Okay, you decide, okay, how you want your life to be, and then you put up milestones, and then you prioritize what needs to get done first, and then you do it, and you take massive action. 80-hour work week, and then eventually the 80-hour work week will become who you are. And if it becomes who you are, it's effortless, you have a fantastic attitude, you're on SR, and you're gonna get the results that we're talking about on this channel.
Alright, and we are done the meal prep, guys.
That is actually pretty cool though. Like, you see what he's doing here? Meal prep, guys. Meal prep is awesome. This is effective. This is great. Because then you get your whole week boom set up for the rest of the week. He's really awesome, this dude.
Alright, and we are done the meal prep, guys. Let me show you. It's kind of blending in, but let me show you before I put it away. We have brown rice, green beans, and extra lean or lean ground beef. We made it extra lean, put some and 30 grams. Tracking calories, I'm doing it all intuitively, and if you guys are wondering about that, I think I'm going to weigh myself right now to kind of see what's going on, because I'm definitely making some progress, but we still have some time to go. So actually, it is my time to eat. I was up at around 9:30 or so. I'm usually waking up at 9:30, getting out of bed at 10. I know, not the best, but woo way, guys. You know, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be, so it's...
No. See, if I was single, I know this guy's not single, but if I were him, I would have been single, okay? And if I was single, I would be going to bed at 8:30 and waking up at 4:30. Okay, I know you guys, many of you guys think that that's extreme or whatever, but I actually did that. When my wife was in America for 5 months, I literally, I think like 80% of that entire time frame, because I was moving around and things were happening, all that stuff, always I woke up before 7 o'clock. Like, ridiculous to get up later than that. But for a long period of time, I woke up every day at 4:30. And how do you wake up at 4:30 every day? You go to bed at 8:30 every day. How do you do that? If you're single, it is the best time in the world to do that. And it's awesome. Okay, so in terms of that, don't listen to this guy when it comes to woo-way, wake up whenever. No, okay? He's awesome, but on this point, he's completely off the charts in a kind of negative way. Still awesome though.
I'm usually eating around 2 o'clock, that's why I'm saying that. And I think I'm actually just going to eat one of these because they look amazing, and I don't really feel like oatmeal in my omelet, which I usually go to. So let's do that. First thing, I'm actually going to weigh myself because I'm fat. I need plate now. I just weighed myself. I'll put up the iPhone clip. I'm exactly 1 pound down, and it's been less than a week. It's been around 5 days. I started this on Monday, and today's Friday, so we're right on track, guys. I'm aiming to lose about a pound and a half each week. I find a pound a week. It's a little slow. 2 pounds is too vigorous, pound and a half. So yeah, I'll give you guys a more comprehensive update starting Monday, because every Monday is going to be the physique update, etc., etc. I was just curious. To be honest, I thought I'd be a little bit lower. I'm a little disappointed, but again, don't get too attached to your weight because it can fluctuate like that. Like if I'm a little bit stressed one day, which...
Who cares about your weight? Do the 80 hours, bro. You'll lose weight fast. Simply by working 80 hours and like, you gotta boom, 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 you gotta take action. You come to a point where you get freaking tired. And once you get freaking tired because you're waking up early and then you're stressing throughout the day, that's how it is in the beginning, right? Eventually you'll be like, bro, in order for me to function, I need to exercise. And then you begin to exercise. and then you're like, oh, I can't exercise properly, and things are difficult, and I feel tired still, and like what's happening? And then you're like, okay, I need to fix my sleep, of course, you know, that's the number one thing you fix actually, and then it's exercise normally, and then you're like, bro, this exercise is taking a toll on me, bro, and then you begin to fix your food, okay? Once you begin to do that, boom, 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 automatically you don't have to think about your weight. It's impossible to get fat, and it's impossible not to lose weight if you do the 80-hour work week. Trust me, it's impossible.
Was today, you know, you can hold more water if you take a shit, if you get what I'm saying, like there's so many variables. But anyways, we're on the right track, guys. That is part of the Wu Wei that is definitely moving through me. It wants to lose this weight. So let's eat this, guys. I'm excited. Then we'll jump into the gym hood. See you guys. I was like, hey, who's banging this music? And I heard some clink. It always is, which is fine. So
I'm sorry, guys. I really like. He's a cool guy, but I don't want to listen to all the, you know, personal stuff. Like, that doesn't interest me at all. Like, if he was on the phone call with me and he was my client, I'd be like, bro, let's get down to business. Although I do listen to my clients sometimes, but you know.
I'm gonna let him do his thing. And let's speak of some practicality, some practical examples in my life and your life of Wu Wei, okay? Because as you know, the name transfers into essentially doing nothing or effortless action, but that doesn't mean you don't take any action. Let's explain. So me with the gym as an example, or these YouTube videos, or doing any of my seemingly habits, I do them because of Wu Wei, you could say. I do them because I feel inspired to, the wave, the natural ebb and flow. You could.
Did you hear the one word he just used? Habit. Okay? You heard that word before? One of the most key words in the English language, or in any language, no matter what, you know, what that word is in that specific language. Habit. Okay? That is what we want. Okay? Why? Because it doesn't require thinking. In the beginning, when you do something in the beginning, when you're trying something new, or you're trying to set in the correct habits into your life, everything sucks. It gets worse before it gets better. It's horrible to put in a new habit. And the new habit is, for example, getting rid of addiction, or it's, you know, just trying to implement the habit of going to bed at a certain time. It's horrible. You're gonna fail a lot, and that's part of the process. We love it. We love failure, okay? As long as we're moving, you know, towards our goals one step at a time. But what happens eventually? The cool part is that a habit only takes 30 days to put into place. Okay, and then you need another 30 days to make sure that your brain has now been wired the correct way, and then you need another 30 days in order to cement it. Okay, does that like sound familiar? 30 days of SR, and then you need the next 30 days to kind of make sure that that's part of you, and then the next 30 days, so a total of 90 days to basically cement it. This is who you are, your brain is wired towards it now, and you can move on with your life having a habit that is effortless. You don't have to think about it. And what happens with your brain when you create space? We want to create space in your brain because the hardest thing there is thinking. That is the hardest work there is, according to, who was it? Henry Ford? Yeah, that's why so few people engage in it, right? He said that. But the whole point that I'm saying here is that we're always in our heads. We're always thinking. Thinking is fantastic, but very often we think about meaningless, stupid things that have no value to us now, nor like later. Like, for example, watching porn and masturbating. Thinking about trying to resist that, or thinking about it, or watching it, or thinking about, you know, the fact that I got offended this last week because of this person did this to me or whatever. Those things serve no purpose long term. And you're thinking about it. Your job is to create space. So first we have to clutter your brain with 80-hour work week. Once we clutter your brain with 80-hour work week, you don't have time to think about anything else. Great, fantastic. Because we're clearing a path. We're making the path open now for your life. There's like, you're literally leaving everything behind. Trust me, the 80-hour work week solves so many problems. I have so many guys saying that, bro, 80 hours, man, it's just too much work, and what are you talking about? And like, man, no one can do 80 hours. Oh, okay? If you think like that, I promise you, you're going to get fantastic results over time if you apply this one rule, 80-hour work week. You're leaving everything behind. Why is that important? Because you suck. At least in the past you sucked, okay? Maybe you're a little bit better now because you've been on this channel for a while, but you're trying to change. You're trying to move towards a new and better changed life. That means you have to change. That means your environment has to change. That means your self-talk has to change. That means your thinking has to be different. Which means that you have to put all of the stuff that you've been thinking about in the past on the back burner. Then you put 80-hour work week, completely new thoughts, new habits, flipping burgers or whatever it is that you need to do at your job. It's fantastic. Your brain is being cluttered temporarily. Trust me, within 90 days, having that job, you're going to do it effortlessly. And what happens when you do a job effortlessly? You have time to think. When you think, you begin now to think about more effective things that actually have an amazing value for your future. And then you begin to think about, how can I solve this problem? How can I solve this problem? How can I solve this problem? That would have never happened if you didn't implement specific habits and prioritize the correct habits in order for you to have cleared that path, if that makes sense. Make sense?
Say there's universal guidance. Life is essentially at my back, backing me up. And I know this because with video ideas, for whatever reason, I always have the right video idea, or I have a video idea. There's never been once where I've had to force a video idea. And this is a prominent theme that Wu Wei, or the Tao, teaches or promotes. It's against forcing. So if you have to force something, you're probably not going with the flow.
I completely agree with this one. I'm 110% against force. Good ideas do not require force, okay? Because if you have a good idea, other people will be like, whoa, that's a good idea. What happens when people think you have a good idea? They want to participate. They want to do what you're doing. They're like, "Rah, that's pretty cool. Okay, I like that." Good ideas do not require force. However, they might have to force themselves to participate because the idea you have might cause rejection and might be difficult, okay? But they have to force themselves to actually join you on that journey, maybe. But you don't force them. It's awesome. And I like that he said that, because force is just completely opposite to human nature and masculinity in terms of getting exactly what it is that you want. Actually, in fact, when you force something, you end up not getting what it is that you want. How does that apply to what he said earlier about, if you don't feel it, if you don't feel the creativity, then you should just don't force it. How does that apply? Well, I'm of the opinion that if there's something that you should force, it's not other people, but sometimes it's important that you force yourself to go inside the 80-hour work week. Does that make sense? Like that in essence is force, but that force is keeping you flowing in that environment that you forced yourself to be in. Does that make sense? And you're not, like, there's not force that is being applied because you're doing it voluntarily. Does that make sense? It's kind of, this one is kind of a bit tricky to explain, but like, for example, I have a client who does music, right? Sometimes he doesn't feel like making music, okay? So but he's there and he's trying to make music. Okay, all of you guys are creators of music. Anyway, but he's there, and then he like has to force himself to be there, which is great. Okay, that's what I want him to do. But he's at least he's trying to change his frame of mind. Okay, so he does push-ups, or he does some physical activity, or he like does things. But he's still doing the 80-hour work week, but he's focusing on trying to create flow where he is. Okay, so he forced the 80 hours. He's not beginning to distract himself with other activities and other stuff. No, he's choosing the 80 hours, and then those 80 hours will become more effective over time. So that kind of is forced, but in many ways, since you're doing it voluntarily and you're beginning to learn to have a good attitude, it's basically like saying that discipline is forced. No, discipline is not forced. Discipline is something that you choose yourself. right? And so it's not force, if that makes sense.
Never, for the most part, had to force a workout. Yes, of course, sometimes I'm a little tired and I take pre-workout, but I still enjoy it. I feel inspired to. It makes me feel good at the end of the day. What you guys must understand, though, is that
sometimes you have to do something that you don't feel like doing. Actually, you should do that every time. If you don't feel like doing something, do it. Okay? But like, if it's a positive thing, of course. But like, because after you've done it and you know that you were supposed to do it, you'll feel fantastic about yourself.
the second this Wu Wei or this force does not back me up, it's not where life wants me to go, then I'm going to stop forcing it. I'll take a week off. I'll take a month off the gym. I've done that before. I'll stop doing the videos as much, guys. This is how life works. It ebbs and it flows. So, again, it doesn't mean you're not taking any action. Clearly, in fact, it can be the opposite. You're taking even more action, but it's the right action. It's inspired action. It is universal Wu Wei action.
I don't know. I think him and I, we have to, little bit different thinking when it comes to that, because I'm completely against vacation. Okay? I'm completely for consistency. All right? I want you to be consistent 7 days a week. Like, I was a hardcore Sabbath day believer in the past, and many of you probably are still, maybe. But like, I was like, Sabbath day, oh my gosh, you need to stay at home and don't do anything and blah, blah, or if you're gonna do something, then only do service to other people and stuff like that. And then I was just like, bro, like, serving other people, capitalism, having a business, doing a job is service, okay? Service is service. So I'm like, consistency 7 days a week, because I noticed that throughout my entire life, I noticed that because I took that 1 day off, my whole week got screwed over. And I had to think differently. And then I came back on Monday and I had to think differently again. And it's just like, no, I want to do the same thing every single freaking day. Continuously over time, because that's the only way to get the exponential growth curve and begin to flow. It's the only way. Can you do it with 6 days on and 1 day off? You can do it however you like. But I'm just talking about how can you get the fastest results, as fast as possible. You want to get to the exponential growth curve, faster than later. If that makes sense.
Alright guys, so brother's already set up all the equipment, he's getting a workout in, we're gonna jump straight in guys, have a little, mid-set back and forth just like we used to in the basement. Thankfully we're now in a basement, it's big enough, the garage, I don't know if it could hold two guys to be honest. So with that, let's jump straight to the workout clip. Today I'm hitting push, hence the green tank. Let's do it guys, enjoy.
You're not a rabbit, so why eat like one? This?
The workout is complete, let's go. Show you guys the place. I'm sure you guys are all familiar at this point, but yeah, pretty dope setup, nothing too crazy. We got the mirror up there, and
absolutely awesome that he's doing his workouts, and in many ways, that is probably his next step, because he has a successful business now, and so, good on him. I think it's awesome if you manage to get the habit of exercising every single day. And this year, you're probably gonna see me exercising quite a lot as well. Not yet though, okay? Not yet. I'm not there yet, and I don't care. I don't mind, okay? I prioritize, and then once the prioritization is done right, I get a PT, okay? And then I get meals made for me by our chef, and then we're gonna get results, right? So I'm prioritizing. You guys have to understand, neglect everything to get one thing right. One thing. And then do that consistently over a long period of time, and when you know you've got it down pat and right, you start the next one. And you start the next one. You start the next one. Okay? Never ever give up on consistency.
Actually just ordered a dope-ass pull-up bar, which I can put in between the those things that use strong door frame back in the tripod, and give you one more tangible example before we're home of Wu Wei. Alright guys, so check it out, okay? As you guys know, I work out alone. I've worked out alone for pretty much my entire life, but specifically with these little B-roll clips, right? I set up the tripod, you guys know that, and I just film around my shots, right? And today was actually the first day I worked out with my brother Andrew, as you saw. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because initially I was kind of thinking like, okay, I got to get him out of the shot when I use my tripod. That's how I shoot my stuff, and it's going to be kind of like tricky to maneuver. I was thinking like maybe I should wait till he's just done and just kind of do my own thing. But he was like, hey, you know what? Why don't I just record for you? And I was like, well, I don't really ever do that. I'm not used to that, but sure, let's do it. If this is what life is encouraging, if this is kind of the way, right? That's literally what the Tao is. The Tao translates to the way. Mandalorian. This is the way. Then I was like, bet, let's do it. And I think it turned out freaking awesome. I mean, he's actually a videographer. He shoots music videos for.
I completely agree with this one. This is how it works, where you are able, like, this is where flow comes in. Because he has his habit and the way he does things, he can open up for creativity. He can open up for a different thing that comes along without it ruining his consistency. In many ways, it actually assisted his consistency, because he was actually kind of like, oh, let's wait until this, that, and the other, and let's wait until this, that, and the other. No, just go with the flow, get started, take action. In many ways, Wu Wei is like an oxymoron, because it's like no action, inaction. And it was effortless action. Like, can you make a decision about which one it is? Like, seriously, action. That's what we want. Don't confuse it. We want daily, consistent action, showing up consistently over a long period of time, no matter what. And in this case, he did the right thing, because he just, let's do it. Let's go. And that's how you need to do it.
For a living, this way he does for a job. So, I mean, I'm sure I edited it. If he edited it, would look even sicker. But yeah, pretty cool, right? When you actually just go with the force. And that was an amazing work. It was fantastic. That's the first time we lifted together. It just happened to be push day for both of us. And yeah, it was really cool. I definitely look forward to more of those in the future. So it's just a micro example of Wu Wei, of going with the wave. And this is, guys, how I try to live my life on a macro level. Just apply it with everything. Okay, it doesn't have to be your workout, but the amalgamation of your workout, maybe your sleep, your girlfriends, your friends, relationships, what you choose to do with your career. It really builds up to your entire life. Anyways, check you guys back home. And alright guys, this takes us to the end of the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Again, let's touch real quick on Wu Wei, what it is, what it ain't, and everything in between, guys. Essentially, it is that great wave. That's what we're going to say. It's effortless action. It's really just water. It's going with the flow. Similar to all the posters in here, guys. I mean, the Buddha, he was going with the flow. It's going with the sun and the moon. And essentially, guys, I want to finish it off here by clearing the air. Wu Wei, or this philosophy of effortless action, does not mean taking no action. This is very important, because if you are continuously inspired to take all this action, then in fact you're taking massive action. You know what I mean? Like, I've shot outdoors, just some examples, created multiple businesses, shot outdoors. You guys know my story with David Hammond Visuals, David Hammond Fitness, daily workouts, thousands of hours editing, photography, videography, because the majority of that, if not all of it, was inspired. I wanted to. It felt
10,000 hours and you become a master. Anyone can do it. Anyone can do it.
right. I went with the flow. And yes, it was a lot of tangible work, like hard, tangible work, but it was not forced. You understand? So it doesn't mean you're not taking action, but it's inspired action. And guys, if you want to know, what is inspired action or is not inspired action, simply ask yourself the next time you feel like doing something. Is it coming from a place of love, authenticity, genuineness, inspiration, wanting to help, service, or is it coming from a place of being robotic, mundane, it's forced, it's fearful, I have to do this because of da-da-da-da. And I would argue that you really want to keep things over to the inspired area. Of course,
I got to mention something here, because this is crucial. This is crucial information. When you create your goals and your dreams, you have to make sure that they manage to create feelings in you. Okay, something that I'm doing with my clients like intensely these days is for them to write down their dreams and goals on a continual daily basis, every single day, and they review those dreams and goals every single day. Why? Because you want them to, I want them to be aligned with that. And then when they own those goals and those dreams, and they already have them, okay? Even though they're far away in the future, they already own them and have them, and I want them to have the same feelings as if they already have them, and I want them to have that consistently over a long period of time. If they can have those emotions that they would have if they had it already, now in the present, they're always going to be inspired. That's the goal, to get in continual alignment with your dreams and goals, that you are your dreams and goals. You already have achieved them. You're already there. And you make sure that you remind yourself continuously that you see it, you read it, this is who I am, this is what I have, and this is, do you understand what I'm saying? Which basically creates the aspect of always inspired action. You're always inspired. You always have a fantastic attitude because you did it by design. Does that make sense? You want to come to the point where you choose to be inspired because you choose to be inspired. There is no time in heaven or hell where you're not feeling inspired because it's a choice. That's what masculinity is. It's the ability to control your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. And at one point, you will be able to choose to feel inspired right now. Get it? You won't need anyone else. You won't even need me, for crying out loud. You'll simply feel fantastic and feel inspired and do what needs to get done. Whether you feel like it or not, but oh wait, you actually feel like it because you've chosen, with an attitude independent of circumstances, to be inspired.
Of course, there are going to be some things in life that we don't want to do that we have to get done. But for the most part, guys, I really mean the most part, we can live from a much more inspired, woo-way state of being. So I'm going to finish this video here, guys. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. This final plugs, guys. If you're interested, there's always one-on-one coaching. We have...
Boom. So, absolutely awesome, dude. You know, thank you so much for sharing with us, David. You've done some great job, you know, like a great job building up your businesses, building up your YouTube channels. And we can all learn tons of information from him and from me. Let's have a collab soon. Thank you so much for watching, guys. You guys are absolutely awesome. And if there are any questions, I will answer them. And there are not. So I will see you guys in the next one.